Hey everybody, I'm back to talk about the latest episode of American Horror Story. So let's get into this episode. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button because I'll be here every week talking about this show. All right, now in this episode, they did a rewind. So they kind of went back and told the story about another owner of this house that they're living in. So there was this guy named Edward, and this is back in the day. He had slaves and all this other stuff. And he had bought the house, and he was kind of a secluded kind of a guy. He had been married before. I can't remember if he had kids or not, but whatever. He left his whole family, wherever they were, and he moved into this house, this haunted house. And he was also gay. So he had this black lover that I think he really loved him. And he was out and open, about his love for him, and everyone was kind of looking at him crazy because they knew that he had a family, and they were like, what is he doing? So he felt judged by them anyway. And one of the things that he loved was his paintings and art and things. He was kind of antisocial. He really didn't like to be around a lot of people, and he just wanted to be around art and beautiful things. But he was almost a tyrant at the same time. So, of course, since he's living in this house, is haunted, and things start happening in the house. So one of the things that happened was they trashed his art, and he just lost it. And he said, who did it? Who did it? And nobody stepped up and said that they done it. So he gets all of his servants together, and he puts them in that shed, whatever you want to call it, under the house. And he says he's going to leave them in there until somebody confesses. So also on that same night, the butcher shows up, and they let him know, excuse me, we have to offer a blood sacrifice to consecrate these grounds, and you don't belong here. So, he was Mr. Big Stuff, and he's like, oh, well, I'm not going anywhere, and I paid good money for this house, and who do you think you are? And they ran like this big cylinder thing right through him, and it killed him. And they put him like in the fire and burned him up, and it was just horrible. The butcher, she gonna do something extra all the time. And what's crazy is, though, the lover that he had, Guinness, he was the one who got punished for all of that. So they blamed it all on him, and I guess he went to prison or he got killed or something, but he took the blame for all of that, and he didn't even do it. And all those people that were down in that cellar, they all died. So that brings us up to present day. Now, from where we left off in the last episode, you have Matt and Shelby and Flora. They're in the house, and they just watched all this stuff happen outside. The butcher and them, they're still out there. It's a blood moon. They can kill. And so they decide that they have to get away some kind of a way. So they come up with a plan for Matt to distract them while Shelby and Flora go hop in the truck and, wait for Matt, and then they leave. And so as they're going down the stairs trying to get out and do their plan, this little girl who looks like she's straight out of The Ring, right? She's crawling, and her head is all distorted and crazy. She snatches Flora away from them, and she runs off with her in the house. And I'm thinking, oh, will y'all please just get it together? Y'all cannot get out of this house safely. Ugh! But eventually they run into her, and she's sitting there and she's shivering, and she has like these fingerprint marks on her arm from where that girl was like grabbing her or whatever. And so then all of a sudden, Edward, the ghost of Edward, shows up, and he's like, I can take you out of this house. So he takes them through this tunnel, and it leads them out into the woods. So while they were running away, they ran right back to that house. Now, the house that had all the maggots and flies, and it was nasty in there and the whole bit. Okay, so they run in there, and Elias is still alive, but barely. Okay, he is being butchered and eaten alive, literally. Like, his arm is gone, his leg is gone, and it's a family of crazies. Now, the kids that were suckling on the pig that they had found or whatever, well, those were the kids of this family. So this family, they have this agreement with the butcher that they will offer human sacrifices to them so that those spirits will leave them alone. And so they're all, crazy and deranged people, and they get Shelby and they get Matt, and they take them to the butcher. Now, before they even get to the butcher, they try to run away, and they almost get away. They kill Elias, like just crushes his head because she said his meat doesn't taste good. You know, she's trying to boil him up and cook him up, and he tastes nasty. Of course, he tastes nasty because he's laying in here on this dirty table, and you just chopping up body parts. Like, of course, he's gonna taste nasty, girl. Not like I know anything about keeping human meat fresh. I'm just saying, if you just lay a pig out and you keep chopping on it while it's still alive until it dies, I mean, I'm pretty sure that it's not gonna taste good. But I mean, that's just me. What do I know? Okay. So because they ran, the mother, she breaks Shelby's ankle, and she's bleeding out and her ankle is broken, and they think that they're going to die, and they get to the butcher, and the butcher says she's going to kill all of them, and they're going to kill Flora first. But let me stop and back up for just a second. Back at headquarters, Lee is being interrogated, and they're asking about her husband and Flora and what happened. And she's like, look, I didn't do it. I don't know how many different ways I can tell you this. I did not do it. Come on, you got to put two and two together. And you can only hold me for 48 hours without charging me. So come on, what we going to do? So her 48 hours was over, and she gets back to the house, and she sees what's going on. So she runs and jumps and get in the car. Now, also, something happened. Now, we all know that the butcher's son, he has never really been on the same page with her about her tactics and what she believes and all of that, but he's just getting terrorized like everybody else. So in this moment when they're about to kill the child or whatever, he gets enraged. So he grabs the butcher and he drags her into the fire. He and her go into the fire, and they start burning up. And right at that time, here comes Lee driving in, and she runs over people, and she gets Flora, and she's like, jump in the car. So they escape. And then they go to a hotel and they try to clean up. And I'm thinking, finally, y'all got out of that house. And as they're cleaning up, it goes to Shelby, and she's dreaming. And when she opens the door, the butcher is standing there with a knife, and she chops her in the head with the hatchet. And it's this dream that she says that she keeps having. Even though that they're away from the house now, she still has these nightmares. So I wonder if their story is over and they're going to start telling the story of someone else who moves into the house, or is the haunting really not over? Even though they're doing this, based on a true story type of an interviewing kind of a style, I wonder if after they do these interviews and they go back into their regular life, the elements of the butcher and the haunting and all that stuff will come into their regular life. I want to see how it's going to play out. But that's basically everything that happened in this episode. If I left anything out, please drop it in the comments below, and we will keep the conversation going. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed watching this video. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.